everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I am reacting to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Now this was heavily requested by you guys down in the comments. I do read them and listen to what you guys want from me, and a lot of you wanted me to watch some of the older Scooby-Doo shows to compare that to Velma. If you don't know, I have been reacting to every episode of Velma so far. People seem to have really liked them, so go check that out before you watch this, because I'm going to be comparing Mystery Incorporated to Velma, and I can already tell you, after having watched the episode, this show is much better, and it just shows you everything that is wrong with Velma. But before we get into the video, if you can give this video a like, that really helps the algorithm know that you like this video and it sent it out to more people. Also subscribe to the channel for more Velma reactions and just reactions in general. Let me know in the comments what else you want me to react to next. Now, let's get on to the video. So the episode starts off with the Mystery Inc. gang celebrating that they just solved another mystery.
Another mystery bites the dust.
Way to go, gang!
Twist is, they're actually in jail doing it.
Better idea.
Oh, come on, Sheriff.
I just want to say right off the bat, this thing already does a number of things differently and better than Velma. Firstly, the show starts off with them acting as a team, something that yet 4 episodes into Velma, we have yet to see the actual Mystery Inc. gang work together. And then secondly, they're all like, good work, gang, yeah, you go. Like, they're all complimenting each other, whereas in Velma, they're just so mean to each other, so already it's just a nice change of pace.
Just cork it. You see this badge? Know why it's here?
It came with the shirt.
You will notice that Velma actually comes across as very snarky in this too, but I think the snarkiness here works because usually she's the voice of reason in the group and she's constantly pointing out things that don't make sense. So she comes across as based or right. So when she is snarky towards someone, she's usually in the right, which is the exact opposite of what happens in Velma, where she's usually just making fun of someone or being really judgmental. So her snarkiness just comes across as mean.
I've called all your parents, who by now I have on speed dial. Are you in trouble?
Right? That laugh is like... I just think the laugh is funny.
Just once it would be nice if someone thanked us for solving a mystery.
Good thing we're not in this to be liked.
Can you imagine other Fred saying this? Good thing we're not in this to be liked. Other Fred is so shallow and self-absorbed. All he does is just whatever he thinks will make him liked. So the fact that this Fred is like, oh, we're just doing it for the mystery, we're not doing this to be liked, is like night and day.
You know, that didn't come out quite right.
Oh, it did. Trust me, Fred. Your other counterpoint is so much worse.
Welcome to the Crystal Cove Haunted Tour. I'm your ghoulish guide, Velma.
So right off the bat, the show establishes that Velma is the smart one, the way that she's supposed to be. The other Velma just comes across as mean and actually not very smart, so this is already a huge difference. Here, Velma is a tour guide for Crystal Cove and is giving some tourists some background information on the town.
When a garrison of Spanish conquistadors mysteriously vanished from the harbor.
Oh, that is so scary. Where did they go?
What part of the word mystery didn't you understand?
This is the kind of sarcastic humor that I'm talking about. Yes, Velma is snarky here, but that person did just ask a dumb question. So again, she comes across as based and right, rather than just mean-spirited.
Since the disappearance of the Darrow family, Crystal Cove has been a hub of paranormal activity.
So then Velma takes the group of tourists inside to see all the mysterious monsters that have been caught in Crystal Cove over the years. And it's at this point in the show that it just reminds me of everything that Velma isn't. Scooby-Doo is supposed to be about solving mysteries and, you know, trying to figure out the whodunits of each week. And there's just not really much of that. Yeah, there's the overarching mystery of what happened to Velma's mother, but that's kind of it. It's different from having these fun, like, weird people in the fake masks that, you know, Scooby-Doo is known for. It's an entirely different show at this point, and for the better.
They all turned out to be fakes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Captain Cutler was just some guy who was hijacking boats. Miner 49er's real name was Hank.
Again, they're really establishing here that Velma is the smart one. You will see constantly in this episode, Velma is the one that has all the answers, all the information, as it should be. Velma should be smart instead of other Velma who... So then Velma's parents get really upset with Velma for scaring the tourists and make her stop the tour early.
What do you think you were doing?
Are you trying to destroy our business? Those were isolated incidents.
Your generation's belief, not mine. My generation, we only got one thing on our minds.
Solving mysteries and building traps.
Oh my gosh, Fred! I actually really love Fred in this episode. He is the antithesis of other Fred. You will see he is just a lovable little himbo. He is completely oblivious to when people flirt with him. He's not all about just good looks and finding girls. This Fred is just obsessed with solving mysteries. That is his one true passion, and it's really adorable to see.
That's two things, Fred.
You know what I mean, Dad. We just want answers. Is that wrong?
Tickling chin whiskers, Fred.
Tickle a chin whiskers. I just love how wholesome this show is. Again, everything in Velma is just so crass and full of dirty jokes that even these wholesome jokes I think are funny, which means you can do wholesome and you can make something funny for adults without having to resort to crass humor.
The mayor's son is supposed to set an example.
I'm trying, Dad. In fact, just yesterday, I entered one of my traps in the district science fair. It was rejected for not actually having anything to do with science.
See, all he cares about is mysteries.
Life is not all about traps.
Life isn't about traps, guys. Wink, wink. If you know, you know.
Pancakes and bacon.
And sausages?
Aww. I love Shaggy and Scooby. I miss Scooby. The fact that he's not in Velma is a crime in itself. I saw someone compare it to it's like doing Tom and Jerry, but then not having Tom. And that's true. Scooby is the heart of what makes Scooby-Doo Scooby-Doo. And look, we have Shaggy back to his usual self, just constantly eating stuff. He's wrapping a pancake in fish for some reason. I don't get that, but it's Shaggy, so I like it.
And orange juice.
See, even their slobbish self is it's everything that Shaggy is supposed to be. Norval in Velma is just he's such a normie. He has no real sense of personality. He's not the fun, lovable, goofy Shaggy like this. He's not always just eating stuff like Shaggy is known to. He's just there to make Velma seem more desirable than she is because all he does is simp for her. This is the proper Shaggy. This is the real deal here.
Your mother and I are worried about this mystery phase you're going through. We're not saying find new friends.
Yes, we are. Find new friends.
Okay, can we also point out here that the men in this show already are a lot nicer than the men in Velma? In Velma, they make guys seem like such terrible jerks. Either they're just caring about sleeping with women, or they're really idiots, or they're simps. That's really it. In this show, you will find that a lot of the times the guys are pretty nice, which is different.
Oh, you guys have got nothing to worry about, man. Me and Scoob always play it safe. If there's danger,
We run fast, really fast.
Shag! Oh my god, Scooby is so cute! Scooby is everything. How can you have a show about the Scooby-Doo gang and not have Scooby-Doo?
and as for our friends, if you guys just gave them a chance, you'd see.
The gang is misunderstood. We're just solving mysteries. All the kids are doing it.
No.
I also like how the editing here is reinforcing that the gang is friends, because each time they edit to the next gang member, they're finishing each other's sentences. So it just highlights, even in the editing, just how close their bond is. I love it. Should be all about friendship.
And what about this Fred Jones? Certainly there must be other boys.
Not like Fred. He's like one of those geniuses that no one understands until they're dead.
This show also has Daphne pining after Fred instead of Velma pining after Fred. I've always thought Daphne and Fred were a better couple than Velma, so I'm okay with this here.
We just want you to go on to have a rich career like your sisters.
So right off the bat, they established that Daphne feels insecure in her parents' affection because she's competing with all her sisters. Right off the bat, that already makes me feel like I like Daphne more because she seems like a relatable person. Even though I don't have any siblings, you can empathize with that. In the other show, they have Daphne become a drug dealer because she's trying to fund an investigation into what happened to the disappearance of her parents. And it's like, you can see how they handled one backstory compared to the other. With other Daphne, they tried to make her backstory so tragic to make you like her, but all it did was, like, make you not like her because they turned her into a literal drug dealer. In this scene, they just set up that, oh, she's competing for her parents' affection. Immediately relatable, that's all you need. You don't need some tragic backstory. You don't need to make Daphne a drug dealer. And it works. She's already likable.
Hey, you sure you guys don't want any of this Fruit Myers smoothie? Oh, it's delicious!
So late at night, some construction workers happen to find themselves in an abandoned tunnel as they accidentally just fall through the brick wall, as it happens.
What the? Who's it? Which one of you broke that wall?
Well, we barely touched.
I mean, you literally just leaned against it and it fell. Like, if you guys are building these walls, you need to do a better job. So the gang goes inside the cave to explore. And oh boy, will they regret that decision. They come across some cans that look like radioactive sludge, and naturally they get as close to it as possible, as you do. And then he tries to open it. What?
I think there's something in there.
Okay, if you see cans that have, like, literally a radioactive symbol on the front, and you see stuff coming out of it, and it looks like there's something in it, what makes you think, I gotta get inside?
What should we do?
Well, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Those are radioactive symbols, meaning whatever inside is dangerous.
So,
meaning we need to open it right away.
Okay. All right, they got me. It's like, so therefore we need to open it right away. All right. See, that's the other thing. This show does situational humor really well. In Velma, all they do is really crass humor or meta humor, and that's where most of the jokes come from. And this one, the humor just comes from the situation, aka a sitcom. An actual proper sitcom with proper jokes.
Hey, I think I see something.
Who saw that coming? And then we see the gang in their Mystery Inc. car, the iconic car, something I don't think we've seen in the regular show once. And again, I just love how much they're hanging out together as a group, something that they just never do on Velma.
Why didn't you text me last night? I waited up for you.
Like me and Scoob ordered a pizza and then we just fell asleep watching a Vincent Van Gogh movie.
Okay, apology accepted.
Could you imagine Velma, like, forgiving anybody that quickly? Velma would have a million, like, really mean retorts about how that person's really terrible, and then in the same breath offend, like, an entire country's worth of people with some really racist joke. Could you imagine Velma just being like, oh, that's okay, I forgive you? Like, never.
But I still missed you.
Oh, yes. So in this version, Velma likes Shaggy. In fact, Velma and Shaggy are having a secret relationship that Shaggy is really worried that Scooby will find out about because he hasn't told them at this point.
Not here. It's Scooby-Doo. He's my best friend. I want to break...
Aww. I just like that Shaggy is so concerned about what Scooby thinks of him and his dating life. Again, this sweet, sweet relationship is what I'm missing in Velma. But then as they're driving, a big gloop monster, as I'm going to be calling it, burst out of the floor. The animation is also excellent. I can't complain about that either.
It looks like a mystery to me, and I think that's just a little more important than school.
Oh, Fred. He's like, oh, come on, guys. This looks like a mystery to me. I think that's a little bit more important than school. Oh, he's such a dork. In this version, you can't help but love him. Literally, he's so oblivious to anything that's not a mystery because that's just his dorkish obsession. It's so cute. So then the gang goes into the same cave that we saw the construction workers earlier, and they find the same radioactive cans.
These are military. From the oxidation, probably 30, 40 years old.
Again, I like how the show keeps establishing that Velma is the smart one. She's always the one that just has really important information readily available, something that they never do on the other Velma show. But then Daphne finds a key on the ground, and that's the secret to an even larger mystery.
Fred, I found something.
Could be a clue. Good work, Daphne.
Thanks, Fred. You're so sweet.
This is what I'm talking about. Literally, anytime Daphne's trying to flirt with Fred, he's just like so oblivious because he's so committed to his craft of solving mysteries. It's adorable.
It's okay. We can talk later.
Oh, girl. He's just not that into you. So then as they're looking around, they discover the 3 construction workers earlier entombed in the green goop stuck to the ceiling.
All right, you see what happens when you kids stick your noses where they don't belong? People get cocooned!
I just like to point out that I know that voice anywhere. I think the voice actor's name is Patrick something. He played Kronk in Emperor's New Groove, and if you've been to Disney World, he's the pilot on Soarin'. I just know this guy's voice anywhere.
This is a crime scene, and future tourist attraction, stay out of it.
I gotta stay out of it right here.
See, that's just funny. That's just funny. It's not mean-spirited, even though she's threatening, but it's not coming from like a place of, let me judge all Muslims or Indians or whatever other Velma would have done.
Don't worry. Fred will make him understand.
Shaggy, start the car.
Like, I thought you were gonna talk to him.
He wasn't in a listening mood.
So then Fred decides to steal one of the goop bodies for science. And I love that this is the most serious thing to him.
So you stole a body? Rockin'.
Don't worry. I know just who can help us.
So then they cut to the school where the Mystery Inc. gang decides to ask their science professor for help on trying to figure out what's going on with these goop bodies.
Professor Rothalo, we need your help.
But he appears to be in some sort of dehydrated stasis. I don't quite know what that means, but I'm guessing it's temporary.
And then in the background, we get like a little subtle B storyline where Scooby tries to steal this squirrel's snacks. And you'll see later that he starts freaking out as he tries to fight the squirrel. And it's pretty funny.
Do you know what could have done this?
The cocoon material looks...
You can see it here. Hold on. Like, look at this. See, in the other Velma series, whenever you look in the background for background jokes, it's usually something really dirty. Like there's one scene where in the background you can see the students are just drawing penises on the board. But in this version, you see like Scooby fighting a squirrel. This is the kind of humor that Scooby-Doo is supposed to have.
I don't get it. All this fuss over, what is this stuff again?
You heard Franklin Fruitmeyer? It's a secret. That's why they call it Fruitmeyers.
So then the gang goes to this weird dessert shop called Fruitmeyers, where no one can really tell what exactly it is that they're eating. They just think it's delicious, and it's very popular.
You know, if that cocoon does turn out to be organic, we might have a real honest-to-goodness monster in Crystal Cove.
My guess? The cocoon is a multi-celled mutation, probably a result of radiated allotropes and free radical implosion.
Could you imagine other Velma saying that? Could you imagine? Other Velma is just not smart enough to know that. And I think they made that very clear.
Maybe we could go for a drive. Talk about that pretty locket I found.
You know you don't care about that girly stuff. That's why we're such good friends. I'll drop you at home. I want to get started on a new trap for the monster.
Oh my god! This Fred is just night and day from other Fred. This Fred is like, Daphne, I don't have time for your flirty antics. We have a mystery to solve. He's like, almost like Norval, but in this version, he's just a really big narc. But it works. He's just this lovable little oblivious himbo, and that's how Fred should be. Oh, poor Daphne.
Good luck with that.
She's like, what can I do for some dick? But lo and behold, it looks like the monster from below was watching them the whole time. Burr, burr, burr. Then we cut to late at night. We see the professor studying the body alone in his lab.
Someone there?
This is the part where I genuinely felt like this actually had some really cool horror tropes, because it's actually kind of creepy. The professor hears a sound and he goes out into the hallway to see what's going on. He discovers, oh, there's just a janitor there. Maybe that's all I was hearing. He goes back inside, thinking the coast is clear, and there's a brief moment of silence before you hear a blood-curdling scream. The janitor rushes inside to see what's wrong with the professor. He looks around, not really sure where he is. Then just as he leaves, there's the professor on the ceiling. Plays like an actual horror movie. It's pretty good. The only horror elements that exist in the other Velma series is when Velma's having a panic attack and she starts having like weird images appear. But that's not really scary, it's just bizarre. So then the gang meet up at the school's radio station.
I'm Angel Dynamite, and you're listening to K-Ghoul.
Love her hair.
101.4 on your AM dial. I was wondering when y'all was gonna show up. He's in the back.
Oh. And then you have poor Fred, who's so upset and so guilt-ridden over getting the professor involved with the mystery that he blames himself for what happened to him.
It's us. We're here for you.
Look at how kind they are to him. Again, I can't get over the fact that in this show, they're just so much nicer to each other than they are in Velma.
I was the one who stole the body, and Professor Ruffalo paid the price. I should have listened to my dad and stayed out of any new mysteries.
We all helped steal the body, Fred.
Basically, Velma's like, if you get in trouble, we all get in trouble. Teamwork makes the dream work, man.
Fred Jones, you've never backed away from a mystery in your life.
I've got nothing!
Oh, he's such a drama queen! I love Fred in this so much.
Man up, Fred. We still have our first clue, the cocoon. I brought a sample.
See, again, that could be, I guess, interpreted as mean when she says, man up, Fred. But again, I don't think this comes across as mean-spirited because Fred is literally being a dramatic baby. And so, yet again, Velma is the voice of reason. Her snark comes from just being smart. In Velma, her snark just comes from being really insecure and mean. So then they say that Scooby is actually eating the goop, only to find out that it's actually the same Fruitemeyer that they were all eating at the dessert shop earlier in the episode.
No, you guys, it's Fruit Myers. The cocoon is made of the same stuff as Fruit Myers dessert.
What?
They're right.
Why would they want to eat that though? Like, it looks gross to me. It looks radioactive. It even had the radioactive sign on the can. So after finding out that the goop the whole time has been Fruitemeyer, their number one suspect for the crimes is now the owner of the Fruitemeyer dessert shop, Franklin Fruitemeyer. Let's see how many times I can say Fruitemeyer. My God.
Franklin Fruitemeyer showed up in town out of nowhere 2 months ago. Before that, nothing. He's hiring right now for female servers.
And this is what they come up with.
Like, why are Scooby-Doo and I dressed like girls when Velma and Daphne are girls?
Yeah, my skate's too tight.
I think Scooby looks absolutely fabulous here. I think he looks like a great woman. I mean, let's compare this Scooby as a woman to the live-action Scooby as a woman, and who did it better? Let me know in the comments. Skip to late at night, and they're now at Fruitemeyer's dessert shop, and they're sneaking in.
The gang fan out. See if you can find anything that will tie Franklin Fruitemeyer to the slime mutant.
Meanwhile, Scooby and Shaggy are, of course, slacking off and getting into the food and eating it because it's typical Scooby and Shaggy stuff. And again, it's moments like this where I'm like, this is what the Velma show needs. Just good wholesomeness like this. This is what we like about Scooby-Doo. The shenanigans. There are no real shenanigans in Velma that don't make me want to throw up.
Let's check over there, Scoob.
Scooby and Shaggy then decide to go check out one of the storage rooms to see what's inside. And boy, do they regret it. Because when they open the door, what do they see? The slime monster.
Run, Scoob!
Daphne then comes across the open storage room that Shaggy and Scooby just left.
Hey!
And of course, immediately gets herself stuck inside. Okay, I will say that Daphne does become a bit of a damsel in distress here, but I mean, at least she's more likable than the other Daphne, who is literally a drug dealer. Again, I cannot stress that enough.
Daphne, hold on! We'll get you out!
But in come Scooby and Shaggy, who are still running away from the monster and accidentally knock Daphne down a dark hole that was in the back of the storage room.
I'm okay, but you better get down here. I think I found something.
Turns out that the hole Daphne falls into is the same tunnel that they were in earlier.
And check this out. Someone's been digging.
Hold on a second. According to my GPS program,
Directly under Crystal Cove Bank.
Oh, looks like someone was trying to rob a bank. Let's see who did it.
I smell a trap coming on.
The gang then decide to hatch a plan in order to catch the goop monster and see who is really behind all this and are they trying to rob the bank. Fred, being the lovable himbo that he is and the leader of the group as he's supposed to be, is the first to try to lead the monster astray.
Over here! Everything set, guys?
Meanwhile, the gang is setting up this really elaborate trap so they can get the goop monster. It's moments like these again where I'm seeing everyone work together where I'm like, I really miss this from the other Velma show. All those people, they just act like they hate each other or they just constantly bicker. None of them seem really nice to one another at all. And here you actually have them working together as a team, as a friendship unit. That's what Scooby-Doo is just supposed to be. Then, predictably, Daphne slips on one of the goop's slime streaks and falls over. And of course, she needs to be rescued again. And they do all that to try to catch the monster. Literally just the longest chain of reactions possible to get this dude in this cage, and they end up getting themselves in the cage. Again, that's actually pretty funny. A funnier joke than anything I've seen in Velma. Thankfully, Daphne is one of the only people that didn't get stuck in the cage. Now it's up to her to save them.
Daphne!
Maybe I spoke too soon, because now she's running away from the monster. Scooby, of course, because it has to be Scooby, has the idea that it's just fruit mire. All they have to do is just eat their way out of it. And so that's what they do. Daphne needs to get rescued for the millionth time when, of course, the gang comes to her rescue. Yay! Teamwork!
Fred! You saved me!
Not right now, Daphne. I have to figure out why my trap didn't work.
Oh my god, Fred. The third time he's like, not right now, Daphne. I can't stand your flirting. I have to get back to my mystery. It's hilarious. And look at their faces too. Look at their faces. They're all just like, yeah, he's not very smart. Look at Daphne. She's so disappointed. Oh my god. All right, never mind. Back to the episode.
What is going on here?
So the next thing we see is the mayor and the sheriff finally coming after they've already caught the bad guy like they always do.
Dad, Sheriff, hold on. You don't understand.
Fred then tries to explain to his dad, who's also the mayor, that it's not a monster, it's actually Frank Fruitmeyer, the owner of the Fruitmeyer dessert shop. But it turns out he is wrong.
That's impossible. Franklin Fruitmeyer's the one who called us.
What?
The fact that Franklin Fruitmeyer walks in like, y'all, I'm alive, I'm right here, confuses everyone, and they're like, wait a minute, but if you didn't do it, who did it? So of course they do the classic mask reveal.
Professor Emmanuel Ruffalo!
And lo and behold, it's the science teacher that helped them before. And listen to his reasoning for why he did it.
I was trying to scare people away from the sewers while I dug my way into the bank and got rich.
But you've got a job as a teacher. Why do you need more money?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
The reason he did it is because, you know, teachers, they just don't get paid enough. And they don't. They really, really don't. But that's the crux of the whole episode, is this poor teacher had to go through this whole elaborate plan to dress himself up as this goat monster and frame the Fruitmeyer guy, all just to dig a hole under the ground to rob a bank because teachers don't get paid enough. And they're all just like, oh, yeah, we understand. It's hilarious. Like, objectively hilarious. That's funnier than anything that's been in Velma, by far. And then, of course, he does the iconic Scooby-Doo line.
That is until you meddling kids and your blasted dog ruined everything.
I just love that. They sort of did it in the second episode of Velma, but they didn't go the whole way.
Wait, what about this locket we found where you were digging?
Ooh, looks like the mayor might know something.
Never seen it before.
There's definitely a deeper mystery going on. We won't know because I think this is setting up for the rest of the season, but isn't this a great hook? This is already a much better hook than trying to figure out what happened to Velma's mom. Like, I'm already more interested and invested in this series and, like, would continue.
Right, well, guess we owe you kids thanks. You did save the bank. Although you also lost the town a serious revenue stream. The stream of revenue!
Okay, that was another really funny joke. This show is actually pretty funny for it not to be like a straight sitcom like Velma is. So then later that night, they're back at the radio station having a jam, but Daphne's still concerned about the key that she found in the tunnel because she doesn't know who it belongs to.
You're all doomed. You should never have brought that locket out of the cave. The real mystery has just begun.
Scooby-Doo.
And then that's the end of the episode. Yeah, that's a much stronger hook for the rest of the season. Like, kind of want to go to episode 2. Wow. I think that show was just about better than Velma in every way possible. I felt like the characters were actually likable. The show was actually about a group of friends that seemed to like each other solving mysteries, which is what Scooby-Doo is supposed to be. Scooby-Doo exists in this, which is obviously a plus. Shaggy's acting like himself. Fred isn't a jerk, Velma isn't unlikable, Daphne isn't a drug dealer. I mean, the benefits just keep piling on and on and on. I feel like Velma just took everything people normally like about Scooby-Doo and just did the opposite of that. And watching this episode just made that very, very clear to me. But what did you guys think? Did you like this episode of Mystery Incorporated? Do you want me to react to more older stuff? Please give me some suggestions in the comments. I want this channel to be interactive, so you guys talk to me and I talk to you, and that's how we work. Again, please like this video. It lets the algorithm know that you really liked it and enjoyed it. Also subscribe to the channel for more reactions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!